trading. It's more or less 9 a.m. in London when I'm doing this, and as always, I'm going to provide you guys with a quick update on the markets. I want to welcome Tim. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. I hope you're having a good day, and obviously get good morning and a happy Friday to everybody else that is watching this or maybe watching the recording. If you like it, don't forget to click on the link and then hit that like button. It's really important because it does send us signals to where we should be focusing our attention on. And Maurizio is here as well. I hope you're doing well. I hope things are good with you. So good. Let's begin, and we're going to begin by just mentioning that the trading financial markets unfortunately is risky, and we can lose all of our invested money as well today, or is it maybe tomorrow? I think it's today with some brokers, and early next week with other brokers. But ESMA rules are kicking in, so be mindful with your positions. As you know, margin requirements are going up for EU citizens. For major pairs, I think the maximum leverage is going to be about 30 times, and then it declines from there. So you need to make sure, especially if you're trading with high leverage, that you have the adequate amount of margin on your account. Now, some brokers, what they do is that you can keep your positions open, and then anything you just add after that is gonna be, any margin for positions you open after the ones you have open right now will require that additional margin. Whereas some other brokers, in particular MT4 and MT5 brokers, they're just gonna force you to sort of make sure you have enough money already from today, really. You should have received emails from all your brokers, but yeah, please bear in mind that that's kicking in today with some and early next week with others. Okay, let's begin, and it's a lot about not currency markets too much, but more about the actual stock markets. That's really where the action is. Like in July, first you had the declines in metals, in particular copper, platinum, palladium, and after that you had some nice moves in stock markets. Currencies though is unfortunately a bit, it is boring. It's just trading sideways. The euro is trading sideways, and there's not too much to add really. If we trade below 115.07, then the market could trade to the downside. The alternative is if we take out 117.90, then this market could head higher. Now, we need to be clever here. Like, there's a reason why I have all of these different markets here, plus some other stuff that I check. And there is some action happening, and I'm not going to cover it here, but check out EUR/CAD. EUR/CAD had a breakdown already yesterday, and I suspect it can continue to move to the downside. So that's a good option if you want to trade Forex only, and you're looking for some good ideas. So EUR/CAD could potentially continue to add to its losses. Now this is Bitcoin, and Bitcoin moved down with about, from its high, it's moved down with about 7.7%. If you look at this from a 4-hour perspective, you can see how this market still remains in an uptrend. The price is creating these higher and higher lows, and I'd rather be bullish than bearish. And we talked about potentially buying here at 79.39, and we had some at least stabilization here. I don't necessarily think that it has fully bottomed out, because it doesn't necessarily work like that, but I think around these levels in the next few days the market can bottom out. I took a Fibonacci from the low to the high. You can see we corrected 50% of that move, which is very common in these short moves. And we might go a little bit lower, maybe to 76.98, so the third fib, but this is the prior breakout level and sort of cluster of resistance that now has most likely turned into support. So I suspect the market could head higher. Here's the price of gold, and that bearish trend we've been watching is still alive. This hasn't been any changes to the outlook. the market moved all the way up, almost got it stopped out, and then all the way down, and then all the way up, almost got it stopped out, and then lower again. And the market here, I think, could most likely trade to the downside. I think eventually, because the way this is right now, this is just a corrective move, and hopefully and eventually we'll just move lower like we did here and attempted to do here. So I remain bearish. On the other hand, took out the high, and we could probably have a major move, or not a major, but a bigger corrective move, maybe something like this. If you look at things like copper, you're starting to see stabilization here. This is copper prices, where, not sure what I did there. Copper prices where, you know, the market was down, up, down, and then sort of ended this very short-term trend. It could still just be a test eventually of this sort of 291 level, but definitely stabilization, and that could translate into stabilization into other markets. Now this is West Texas, and the market, you know, did stabilize here, and we're just trading sideways between 67.03 and 70.24. And I think looks to me that we're heading slightly lower today. We need a bullish break, and, you know, take out 70.24, we'll go up a bit and then down and then potentially higher. The alternative is that we trade below 76.03, and then this market could head to the downside. And this is a German DAX. German DAX is heading to the upside, and I think it's targeting maybe 13,000 or 13,100. These are like psychological levels, and this one is more about almost reaching this high, but this is more of psychological levels. So I think we have a little bit more to the upside. So in this presentation as well, we have talked about the Dow. I didn't, actually not in here specifically, but I did share an update on the Dow. So the Dow, when I did the update, was trading here at 25,455, and usually when you take out a high like this one, the market targets the next set of highs. So this was a good opportunity to go long. You can see here how yesterday we added to those gains, and today continuing to move to the upside. I think we could head up to 25,835, and then eventually maybe a little bit higher. What's interesting today as well is at the end of the month, so a lot of people that have money that goes into pensions, that, you know, it's being pulled from their salaries around today and probably early Monday and Tuesday next week, and then this is being invested. So you tend to have a bit of a bullish bias anyway around this time of the month, but up to the upside. And sort of, I think what it is sort of is sneaking up on people. I think people are not fully understanding the implications of Trump and the EU deal. Obviously, it's just I think it was a 2-hour meeting, and they just drafted the general overview what they want to accomplish. Now it's obviously down to all the bureaucrats to figure out exactly how to implement it, but they all sort of agreed to have less tariffs and less government aid to certain industries. And this, if they actually go ahead with this, is pro-business. Doesn't have to necessarily be pro for, say, farmers necessarily, because what if you open up competition? I mean, obviously in the EU and the UK will buy what's good from the US, and the Americans hopefully will buy what's good from here. So yeah, if you're a car maker, most likely you'll do good. But if you are maybe a farmer and you're not selling like a special sort of wine or some cheese from France, then I guess you will be more competition, because you're competing with farmers in the US. To give you an idea and an example. But I think the end effect is that as a consumer, you can buy goods from the US potentially at cheaper prices, and you can, and for the Americans, they can usually buy products for cheaper prices and better quality from the EU. And there's obviously a range of products in between. It's not that binary, but in general, it's good for business. And we did have a bit of a push here, but after that it's slowly grinding to the upside. And I think this is good actually, because if it goes really, really quick to the upside, you get all these perma bears showing, looking ready to short. Anyway, I think we can go to the upside even without that deal. The economy is doing good. Don't pay too much attention to what a lot of these politicians are saying. And even Donald Trump, on one hand, he's saying, well, this and that is bad, and then at the same time he says, oh look, we have very low unemployment rate and the economy is doing great, and today's GDP numbers out. So everybody, Donald Trump may be also here in the UK with all politicians are going to try to take their story and sort of tweak it. And you need to be very mindful what you read in general, to be honest. If you read too much Zero Hedge, for example, I'm sure you have a certain bias, and if you read my stuff and other people's stuff, you have another bias. You know, my biggest problem is that I guess I'm usually very optimistic, whereas I know that other people are usually very pessimistic. So the truth is maybe somewhere in the middle. Anyhow, this I think is going to head to the upside. We talked as well about the S&P 500. I did an update for you on here. We're trading down here. I said if we take out this level, we can go to the upside, and it's working out good. But if you're trading Forex, guys, this is the dollar index, and you're going to be waiting for quite some time until you have a break here. But as I just said beginning of this presentation, you can maybe look at something like the Euro CAD, and that could potentially be something to work with. Let's take a look at the economic calendar. And today we have GDP numbers, preliminary numbers. Now, I think the advisor of Donald Trump, Kudlow, I think he said something that GDP is going to be big. So the annualized anticipated growth is 2%, or 4.1% versus 2% in the prior month. And obviously, if we continue to grow at 4.1%, guys, that's really solid numbers. And you can guess what's going to happen with the dollar and with interest rates if this actually continues to be this way. And also stock markets. So let's see what happens. I think the biggest problem today is that you have Kudlow saying it's going to be big. And I think as well, I didn't actually see the statement, but from second-hand sources, they're telling me that Donald Trump as well said that it was going to be a 4%. So it's going to be a solid number. But the problem is now everybody's sort of getting excited about it. So if the numbers are not as good, then you might have a bit of a disappointment. So this is something to keep a close eye on today. At the end of the day, though, I think we can all agree that the U.S. economy will probably continue to do good. Here are the numbers, by the way. 3.3% here in, well, this is December 2017. And since then, we've just been going lower and lower and lower, and now potentially up. We have been at 3.5% here in December 2016. And this is, what is it, September 2015 at 3.9%. So obviously if we go up at 4%, we're going to be around these levels. And I do anticipate this to continue to perform well. And it's going to be interesting as well to see how Donald Trump what happens with the Fed if they sort of agree on anything. It's an interesting topic, inflation targeting, and not everybody agrees with it, not even within the Fed. And there has been publications about changing that target for quite some time. I personally don't think it would be a good idea because everybody will, not everybody, but if you have inflation at 3 or 4%, then people with savings are going to be forced to go to the stock markets, which you don't necessarily want to. And they can, in essence, they will see the value of their money erode. We have Antonio here as well, and we have Hi. So we have this. This is good. We have a few countries represented today. We have, I guess, Tim, UK, Maurizio, Italy, Hi, Netherlands, and Antonio. I think you're based in Spain, right? Or maybe you're based in the UK. Don't really remember. guys, we're gonna wrap things up. If you have any questions, you can pop them here. Otherwise, we're gonna finish. Oh wow. Cheers. Sorry, Tim. I should have known this. Okay, so we're gonna wrap things up. So you have a few setups to work with. If you have any questions, guys, just let me know. You can always just send me a message here via Twitter at AlexFX00. You can, of course, if you want to, just send me an email at asambrano@tradecaptain.com. Have a good day. Thank you.